Hey, this is Nick,
And this is Lo.
and this is 10 Questions with Frail Body. Lo and I were in a bunch of bands for a couple years, and we're the two guys that really wanted to just kind of push and tour as hard as we could. We shared a practice spot with our drummer Nick's other band, and we all wound up getting drunk and saying, hey, let's go fucking tour.
Yeah.
And we toured forever.
For a brief Memorium, Nick and I kind of wrote a lot of parts like individually and brought things in a lot more. Artificial Bouquet we kind of wrote during COVID, so we sort of tried to approach it as a day job writing the record. So we all kind of came in for that one. Everybody sort of like had democratic process over each other's parts, and we sort of like crafted every part together. I think that's like why that record is a very good representation of who we are. Ooh, that's a good one.
I can't really name any flowers besides like a rose or like a dandelion or whatever, so.
I'd say daisies. I like lily of the valley. Got rose bushes back home. Love roses too. I don't know if anybody's ever asked us that before. The biggest thing that I get is when we go on stage and then people are like, all right, where's the other guitarist or something? And they think they're like, where's the standalone vocalist? And they think that we're like a 5-piece.
Yeah.
And then we show up and they're just like, oh, there's only 3 of you. It's like, yeah, it's stressful.
I guess that's it, yeah. I have 2 answers. I mean, the first is obviously like touring, getting to go all over the country and other countries all over the world and just experiencing other cultures and other ways of life. That's like something that a lot of people don't really get to do, so that's pretty sick. There's also just something really cool about just dudes being in a room writing riffs and like a song comes out of nowhere. That's kind of like an indescribable feeling where you come into a room with literally nothing and you leave with like 3 minutes of the song.
The creative process is really special. It's sort of a unique relationship that I think that unless you're in sort of some sort of collective process with somebody, whether that's being a musician or whether it's being a part of a sports team or something like that, just like a group of people with like one common goal, when everything kind of starts to work together, it's a really special feeling of like symbiosis with everybody, and that's really cool when like everybody's on the same page and you can just like knock out goals together. And I would say also just like connecting with people from all over the world and making stuff that like makes other people like moved. It's always interesting to like kind of hear what's something that like we make together with our own like motives and our own like motivations and whatnot, how that's going to be interpreted in the rest of the world, and the fact that like anybody cares to even interpret it is like really special. So the lyrics for Frail Body are mostly composed by myself about sort of processing my mother passing away from cancer, and it could be like all various aspects. I mean, I run lines by the guys and they like help me edit stuff and whatnot, and some stuff might kind of sound silly or won't get the point across, but the general storyline for the lyrics is sort of either direct processes dealing with my mother passing away or some of the poor decision making that I was having at the time, or the motives that might have affected, and just how that loss can have a ripple effect into like every sort of aspect of your life. I sort of learned to deal with that loss in an everyday way that helps you traverse the world. I don't know, playing too loud, making the sound guys a little annoyed. That's always fun. He was using 2 bass cabs one night at a house show. That was kind of funny.
Pretty funny.
Just ridiculous stuff, but
One of the most recent funny things we had is we stayed over at our friends in Black Magnet's house in Oklahoma, and like everybody had been asleep for like an hour, but I had a headache, so I went to the bathroom and I like opened a container of like 400 ibuprofen liquid gels, took a couple liquid gels, and then like tripped on the way to getting back to my bed, and so like 400 liquid gels just like flew all over the floor, and everybody woke up because they thought like something crazy had happened. So, and I was like, I couldn't sweep it up because it was just so funny. Like I couldn't stop laughing. So
Nick gets night terrors sometimes. And every once in a while when he gets woken up, he comes up swinging. There was a time when I like got into the van. I was trying to get my sleeping bag and he was like asleep on the bench seat. And I opened the door and he just like straight up kicked me out of the van. Like, and he was just like freaking out. He thought that I was like breaking in.
Right.
And I just like calmly shut it and I was like, can I get my sleeping bag? Like, oh man, probably me.
I mean, there was never like a point where, sorry to cut you off, but there was never like a point where we wanted to not do it. Like we knew it was going to come out eventually. If it takes a while, it takes a while. I think the end product was worth it. So just knowing that we were going to deliver the highest quality music we could made it all worth it, and it kept us motivated.
Yeah, I just don't think that we know anything else. We're always going to be doing this kind of stuff, and it was hard getting through COVID and whatnot, but I mean, like I said, we just kind of tried to treat this as a job and try and like figure out a creative process that could make something a little bit different, more fleshed out than a brief memoriam. And I think we were just excited to see what that would be received like. So it was pretty easy to like still want to keep on doing some stuff and keep on touring and trying to get everything ready for the year that we've had. Thank you guys for coming out to shows and shit like that. It's really special. It means a lot.
I would say just keep doing it. You know, I mean, you're gonna play shows that you don't feel good about. If you love it, it's something you have to do, then you just keep going.
I'd say branching off of that, just learn to be uncomfortable. Learn to be okay with being uncomfortable. Like, it's a challenge, everything from playing shows to touring, all of it. Like, it's a big thing to do. Sometimes it's not always gonna pan out. You just gotta keep on going. So learn to be uncomfortable.
Thank you, Lawnchair Youth.
This has been 10 Questions with Frail Body.